and fighting amongst ourselves over the Charlie Kirk assassination and which direction the bullet came from, well, monsters like this are actually in the background changing the future of humanity. There is nothing bigger going on in the world right now than the digital IDs that are being rolled out globally. This is going to impact people's ability to work, people's ability to bank, people's ability to buy and sell, their ability to travel. You basically won't be able to exist in society or participate in any meaningful way if you don't get one of these digital IDs. Oh, but don't worry, guys, it's free.
I'm announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID.
That's right. You won't be able to work in the United Kingdom unless you get one of these digital IDs. But I know your biggest concern was how much is it going to cost to get the ID? And I hope this bag of mayonnaise has relieved any of those worries, because it's going to be free, guys. Thank God.
All right. So basically, one of the few countries that has fully implemented digital ID, digital currency, which means that anything you purchase, you have to use it, you have to do it digitally, which means it's monitored. I think it's China. I know for sure UK, Sweden, Canada has implemented systems, but of course, like he said, they're spoon feeding you. They're saying it's free, it's voluntary, but places like the UK or whatnot, in China and in India, it's mandatory. Don't quote me on that because again, I do my research, but I don't live in these countries, so I'm just going off my steadfast research. And some of them, there are some verifiable sites and stuff that I have checked, but nevertheless, it is official in some countries. With that being said, the topic of conversation that I want to ask you guys to talk about is one, if they attempted to do that in America, in your heart of hearts, would you succumb to that? Which meaning that you could possibly face not starving, not being able to buy food, might have to look at your kid and you be like, "Well, I'm hungry," and you be like, "Because I'm fighting the fight." You know, I'm putting it like that because it's easy to say some shit, but then not think about what are some of the things that come along with sacrifice. You know, and it's not saying we won't sacrifice. I'm just putting it in perspective before we answer this question, because we talking about some real live shit here. So with that being said, Rich on the side of me, my brother. So Rich, what's your thought? If America attempted to implement that to where it's mandatory, what's your thoughts on it in general, and how would you accept it?
Well, I'm not going to accept the mark of the beast. And that's that thing, that a chip they want to put in your hand and you got to scan it and all that. I'm not accepting none of that. So I'm not down with that wave. But like the credit card already, the touch and the Apple Pay, I already used that bullshit, cash out. So they didn't already got me used to that. But I'm talking about that mark of the beast they talking about you supposed to get. It's going to be a chip in your hand where they can keep up with your location with no more lost kids, no more money being stolen. They're going to sell it to you real good. I'm telling you, I read that about 10 years ago in Beheld of the Pale White Horse.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I don't trust that. I don't think everybody should know. You should put all your eggs in one basket. You know, I'm old school. I like to feel them, them blue faces. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not going to be with it. I can honestly tell you that. And how would I survive? I was a criminal before I was anything, so I know how to go back to my roots. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pillage the earth. I'm gonna become a pirate because I'm gonna feed mine. You know what I'm saying? I'm not fucked up about that part. That's just what I'm willing to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just, if I'm willing not to go that route, I'm willing to go the other route. You know what I'm saying? It might not be the right route, but it's the route I'm gonna take. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just me. I'm not,
Gotcha. That's respected. So let me add to some context to it. So basically, the digital ID means that that's going to be the only form of currency. That's going to be the only form of ID, and that's going to be the only way you can purchase anything. So that means it's gonna trump. It's gonna be a combination of your ID. That's gonna be your only form of debt with transactions. Won't be no more credit cards. It's gonna have your credit score, your whole life on it, DNA. That's why if you notice they push into digital ID now, right? Mm-hmm. Even the passports they got digital passports now. Order mine is only $20. Now we still need the passport to go overseas. It's still mandatory, but like Smelly said, they definitely spoon feeding us. So, but I get it. I respect it. So you know what I mean. So yeah, that's real. But there's one to add context to what they saying. So that means they gonna get rid of everything. That's crazy work. But I feel you, Rich.
But you don't forget the border system always works. Because somebody gonna need a chicken and somebody gonna need a cow. Somebody gonna need a goat. You're gonna have somebody don't have. And that's when you don't need currency. You know what I'm saying? You got to see where the value lies. You know what I'm saying? Because any paper ain't nothing but paper. We give it value. You know what I'm saying? So something like water may come important. Milk, eggs. I remember eggs just was damn near $10, $12 not even 6 months ago. So little shit like that. Toilet paper. You see what I'm saying? I might get a plug on some tissue. And tissue high. I can give you
So King, since you finna speak, let me ask you this.
I mean, where are we going?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because you won't even be able to work if you don't accept it.
Yeah, like where are we going? I mean, we live in America. If this here, that's how we pay. I mean, I gotta have a driver's license.
Yeah, you won't even be able to work without it. If you don't accept it, you won't even be able to work.
But I work for myself.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not worried about working. That ain't never gonna be, like that. I never had an idea.
But you did say you can't buy any food, groceries. You can't
buy nothing. Anything you can buy in the store, you got to use that card.
So I'm like, why? What would be the bad reason for me not to just tap in? I mean, I live here. I mean, if that's what it is, it ain't like I'm going to prison or something where I can't move around the world. Now, if it's something like that, or if they got to know my whole business, like I can't have no
privacy
under the bed, no mattress money,
they're getting rid of money. The money won't be worth
gold.
Anything.
They ain't getting rid of gold.
No, I'm just telling the story. I'm not this side. I'm like y'all. I'm not finna sign the mark of the beast. But what I'm saying is
I'm not getting that shit.
Yeah, King. They
unless
got
it's
that
on my
right
phone.
now. No,
it's on my phone. Cool.
King, they got that right now. I went to a concert at the Toyota Center. It was cashless. Money was no good. If you didn't have a card or your phone, I mean, they didn't want nothing else. I'm talking about here go money. They like, no, we don't take cash.
That's how it is on most of this shit.
I mean,
that's where we going, y'all. We already on the way there.
We already on the way. That's what I'm saying.
That's why I had the
I don't want to get a chip, but I keep a little card or something. Yeah,
this digital ID, it blankets everything.
But let me tell you something about criminals. They're gonna be selling fake IDs. They're gonna be filling a whole profile. So it's ways to get around it if you.
Somebody's gonna have a QR code.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get around it. It's gonna be a way to get around it. Trust me.
Look at it this way. Right now, they are already programming you by doing the little things that you just said already. You're doing. Oh, the Apple Pay. Okay, that's a little small programming of I'm gonna take that from you, and you already got this. Oh, your card now, how you can just tap it. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little bit more, and now you got that, and then it keeps going further and further and further.
But hold on, like, you gotta realize now, 5 years ago to this day, 5 years ago, They told us we had to take a vaccine to keep working. I know some of my brothers lost their job because they failed to take the vaccine.
Yes.
You hear me? You hear me? So at this point, now the vaccine is a problem. Now you don't have to take a vaccine. I had to wear a mask in a store or I was kicked out of a store. So everything they doing right now is a trial basis to see how you niggas or we niggas or these people gonna react to the situation. And if we don't react to the situation in accordance, then they can't uphold it. So we as brothers, we have to teach the ones that we're raising, teach the ones that we can reach to not be accordance to this shit. Now at the end of the day, if they do go cashless in the world, I'm agreeing with my boy Rich. We got to get back to the basics. We got to grow our own food. Shit, nigga, you got deodorant, I got toilet paper, you got water. Hey man, we gonna have to do this shit in accordance.
We're gonna have
but
to
at the end of the day, everything right now, they trying on us in America what they trying in these different countries, because that's what they trying to do. Everything is going digital. The money, the ID, whatever we doing is going digital right now so they can keep a tab on us. Because the ultimate goal, and I hate to get into this conspiracy theory shit, but the conspiracy theory of it all, they trying to kill us off. So we can't teach these youngsters. They trying to they trying to kill us old heads out. That's why all the old people was dying in Corona, because they wanted to kill the old. So we can't enlighten these youngsters on how to do certain shit, how to farm, how to barter. They don't even know what barter mean right now. Yeah. So at the end of the day, man, we gotta wake up right now and beat this shit before it beat us.
They don't even know how to preserve vegetables. Don't even know how to preserve vegetables.
T-Ben took them little boys and taught them how to fish. He didn't bring them none. He taught them. So I know
boys. He took children. He took children. He didn't just take boys.
Children.
You're absolutely right. Boys and girls.
Let me add to this too.
Hey,
everything y'all say has merit in it too. But I want to just let this be known, because we do have a demographic out here. I also, we got a lot of lost YNs, but let's not get it twisted. It's a bunch of woke YNs out here.
Yeah.
Who ain't having this shit. Yeah. So I don't want to just, I know y'all not talking about all, but I still want to give that credit to them.
That's good.
Because it's kind of been a universal statement made between us all. But it's a lot of YNs out here. They ain't with this shit. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to them, the ones who aren't going to buy into it, who are going to stand up, against this, what I would call a form of tyranny like us, because, they are our soldiers. You know what I'm saying? To a certain extent. Now, I want to play devil's advocate, right? I agree with all y'all. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm not gonna sign up for it, but I have to play devil's advocate because it means something, and I would like to get y'all answers from the devil's advocate perspective. So I'm gonna start with Ben. Let's say nothing can stop this, right? And it happens, because if we be technical, technically you really can't have a farm in your yard if it's not, classified as that by the state, right? So let's say they play that little old petty ass game, right? Technically, water ain't free, right? If without the digital ID, your water get cut off, right? So being that, what I'm saying, I know you a brother who not saying y'all or not, I'm just saying, since I'm asking the question, that understands strategy. If that happened, what would be some strategies that would make sense that wouldn't hurt us or get us locked up to combat the digital ID if it became mandated?
I'm just gonna answer the question you asking the way you asking it.
Yes.
Hey, if that's the law of the land, there is no combative to it. Because if you don't do it, you're gonna go to jail or whatever the punishment gonna be. Ain't no way around it. You'll be a criminal if you don't go with the grain. So it ain't no other way really around that. Your strategy is just to keep your head down and stay out of people's business. To be honest, I mean, if you don't follow the program, you're gonna be a criminal. I mean, it's black or white. But now I would like to go back. uh, I hadn't chimed in at the moment, but hey, part of our family goal is to go to Africa. Just being honest, that's part of the plan. That was part of the plan during our dating stages. And you know, if there's certain things that what we do now, we use our digital cards and you know, I don't use fingerprints for things, but I see people use the fingerprints to log in and stuff. I haven't got to that point, but if it's levels to it. So if it comes to a point where they say, hey, you got to get you a chip implanted in you for whatever rules they put in place. If that's our limit, it's just time to go. It's time to go. I mean, we not confined to have to stay within these borders. You know what I'm saying? The whole earth is for humans, man. We ain't got to just be here. We'll go somewhere else, and we may have to give up some luxuries. We might not be able to just to be available to go somewhere and scan a car and get food. We might have to wait a little bit longer. Just life will be different, but that's where we'll be at. We'll have some sort of freedoms with it, though. So yeah, but to answer your initial question, hey man, if that's the law of the land, and if you go against it, you'll be a criminal. So ain't no way around it.
Gotcha. Good shit. Good shit. So I'm gonna go back to King. So based off of what being said, would you agree that one of the few ways that we would have to combat this is to make sure that we inject our kids into that game, technology, being that most of us want to be rappers, athletes, and go to school and get these petty degrees that might not even give you a job in the next 10 to 20 years?
Hey, Rob, real quick,
Yeah.
my bad for cutting in. I wanted to say this.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we ain't got no privacy right now.
Yeah, exactly.
We ain't got it right now.
Yeah.
You track that where you go right now.
Right now. Yeah, facts.
I remember back in the early 2000s, man, my old man, he was in the military. He told me then, and he was talking about years prior. He was like, man, military can listen to us right now in our house and can see us right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You ain't got no privacy right now. So this illusion that you got privacy that's an illusion. You ain't got no privacy. I
Yeah.
mean, there's satellites all around this planet.
Exactly. Yeah.
That chip that y'all
Okay.
talking about, that chip that you talking about, Rich, they didn't put it in you. They didn't put it in you. They put it in your hand.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Here you go,
Yeah,
right
they
here.
did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
This it right here. This that chip.
And a credit card and everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you know what you
Now,
gonna do? Everywhere you go, where you go, what you go with?
Yeah.
Gonna
This
take
little
that cell
motherfucker
phone.
right here. This motherfucker go
Hey, and
everywhere
they
you go.
and they calling it the apple, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The
But
They
get
apple.
what?
already
If
put the
you
That
chip
forget
that
in
that
there.
that
bitch at,
apple.
if you
Yeah.
forget
That
that
one
bitch
they
at home,
talked
you gonna
about in
bust a new one. Go
Genesis,
get
right?
that.
Hold on. We got a lot of people on the panel, y'all. Y'all sound crowded.
That one they talked about in Genesis, right? That apple, that same apple coming to back and bite us in our ass. That same apple that Eve ate off
Yes,
that tree, supposedly. That's that apple they was talking about.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So, King,
You know.
I want you to go and answer the question, though, King, because I think it's important. Because the reason, it's a method to my madness, right? The reason I asked Ben that question because me knowing how his mind run, I knew he was going to answer it the way he did. And so the reason why I skipped it over to you is because, we want to have as many conversations as we can that can at least give some type of options at a solution.
Yeah.
And so I don't want us to just take this conversation and then you know what I mean? And because there is a solution.
Yeah.
And we got to come together.
like
We
what
got to
Ben
create a Black Wall Street.
But King,
I like
but,
what Ben.
but the solution, do you think that's a big thing as far as solving the problem instead of running from it or trying to fight it?
Oh,
outside?
no. I was adding on. I was like, I do like Ben's solution to go somewhere, but I also like when you said about the IT. I thought you were saying Ben was talking about the IT stuff too. like learning technology and getting our kids involved in technology to understand this. Yeah. But I think that some of us believe we have our lineage here, and we're here, and we're here, and we want to keep this here. So yeah, I do think that we're gonna have to get into those informational technology systems, but that still is along the lines where I'm still on Rich's point of view of like still having hand to earth, and Smelly's point of view, hand to earth, to where the technical part may be going to go learn to be an electrician or a plumber.
Well, that's
And
what I'm talking about.
Technical kind of like hand skill. I thought you thinking about like IT. I'm thinking about AI.
No, I'm talking about what I'm saying is like, here's what people have to understand, and this is why I'm glad we're having this conversation, right? Because sometimes our answers to problems or challenges like this is not as solution based, or the solution might not be the best solution, right? And so, for example, right now, what has become instantly one of the most sought out jobs is electricians. Want to know why? Those supercomputers need electricians. Now, that's a regular job, right? It's like, what I'm saying is, it's like a 9-to-5 job. But instantly, since AI, it then became one of the biggest demanded jobs in the world.
Great.
But I also want to pigtail on too. Is like, I do feel like if we do have some sovereign nation that we could run to in Africa and have that, cool. But again, a lot of those nations over there are still corrupted and ran by these same UK, France places that.
But this is my whole point.
Too, so you're just gonna run. You're just gonna run to another problem.
Yeah. Well, no. What I'm saying is there are options, right?
You gonna get down or you gonna lay down?
You're gonna get out.
But see, Rob, if it's predicated upon the devil's advocate perspective, then it's like you don't have a choice, right? But now, if it's not under the umbrella of saying like, hey, you have to get with the program, in my mind, people, humans in general, will rebel against that. The salt of the earth will rebel against that, and they'll come together to figure something out. Because I'm of the mind that digital currency was the first example of that. Like, hey, we're gonna figure something out without the government having to be involved. We'll figure something out and find a way that we can barter with each other without their involvement. Now the government want to jump into the game, into the mix, because they're starting to get so big they can't control it, so they got to find ways to control it.
Gotcha.
But power is with the people. So I don't believe that if it's an announcement, say this is what's happening and this is the new rule, people will find a way to say, hey, we ain't going for it. This is what we gonna do. You can't take 1 million of us. You know what I'm saying? So I think in that vein, but if the question is like, hey, it is what it is, you can't do nothing about it. Either you're gonna be a criminal or you're not gonna be a criminal. Like, oh, that's like the line with me right there. But you're right, brother King. You just like jumping out the pot to a frying pan, but then again, it's like pick your poison. What do you want to deal with, a corrupt government or a place where they put something in your body that you feel like you don't have agency over yourself anymore? I personally, it don't have to be Africa for everybody. It could be anywhere outside of these borders. But for me, if I had to choose, I would choose the corrupt government where I'm dealing with humans still versus something in my body where at any moment I can explode or something. You just never know. So that's just kind of how I view
it. Yeah. I guess what my point is like I just want us as a culture to have just as many people fighting from the inside out as the outside in.
Yeah, I dig that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Too many times, mostly just fighting on the outside in instead of not realizing that there's also power in fighting on the inside out.
You can train your children to do. To reconfigure the system.
Was to do that. So I guess what I'm saying is like when I wake up in the morning, I'm either gonna complain or I'm gonna do something about it, right? And we wake up with challenges that we have no control over too. Every day. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? And so that's I'd like to look at it, even something as big as this from the same scale too. So like, okay, if they have this, like, you know, people, you got people out there whining about they gonna take jobs and this and that. Well, okay, well, the jobs, those particular jobs may be going away, but guess what? AI and the technology is also creating new jobs that didn't even exist.
Yep.
Switch the game up.
Major shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, right? For example, right? Think about this. Right now, what didn't exist 15 years ago was the job of somebody walking around holding a camera, getting paid by $1 million stream, and they're making anywhere from $100,000 to $300,000 a year.
Yeah,
that job didn't exist.
They didn't have as many of them. They had them. They just didn't have as many of them.
But they usually work for the news company.
Yeah.
That. You know what I'm saying? But now a random nigga.
Right.
Yeah.
That's an income.
And then before you have to have a degree to do that kind of shit. Huh?
You have to have a degree to do that
now
shit.
you can just pick your goddamn phone up and record, nigga.
Yeah, record. You know.
So. Hey, imagine a man that used to work on a horse and carriage. He had to become a mechanic.
Do with the government too, because they want to. Once your face is on this camera, you are a part of the system now.
But I'm talking
about them people knocking on your doors back then. The Census Bureau, the census. They don't even have the census no more because so many people got Instagram, Facebook. They don't need the census no more. They know who you are. They know where you at.
They just download the list.
So all of this shit is just in line for their bigger plan.
But
you got a social security number, a finger. When you was born, they gave you an SSN number. They took your fingerprints.
But what I'm saying is from a solution point is, you know, work with what we deal with. We can still find workarounds. That's what make us such a resilient people. And I think
we're gonna find out a way.
You know what I'm saying. And what I don't like is when we sing. Sometimes I get scared and feel like we're losing it as a whole, not individually. It's naturally in us. You know what I'm saying. It's kind of like this. You have a nigga that go to prison 17 times, right? But when they go to prison, these niggas carpenters and shit, all kind of shit, then get out and don't want to do the shit. But then you go in there, you do it when the motherfucker tell you to do it, or because your ass ain't got nothing else to do.
Hey, you know what, Rock? And it's interesting you bring that point up because we talked about something similar about not wanting to hang around our NIGGAs, right?
Yeah.
And part of it is I understand, you know, when it's like about criminality, I get all that. Hey, but man, poverty and that type of circumstance can bring out so much creativity in people, where they can figure that kind of stuff out, where they can find out ways to get around things, and that's where a lot of the genius resides. That man, when the brain gets stretched to a certain point, you know. So, you know, we have that in us. We always been a creative people. We always been able to figure stuff out. That's what makes us so unique on this planet. You know, we always, like, we call it NIGGA rigging something. You know, I want to say the word in the house like that, but we'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I'm with you on that. You know, we always figure out how to survive if anything. If slavery couldn't kill us, then y'all think nothing can. You know what I'm saying? For real, we weren't supposed to survive that.
Yeah, because like when I think about it, right, like, man, them old heads that was over me. And I'm even speaking on me to a certain point at one point in my life, bro. But when I got wise enough to understand and know the difference and stuff like that, you know what I had realized? I'm gonna use me for example. I realized I complained way more than them cats over me. Man, them cats over me did not do a lot of complaining, bro.
Nah, they just got to it.
They just made it happen. They worked around it and all that shit. They dealt with it and they worked around it if they chose to work around it, or they found a way to overcome it. And so what I've seen is we become more of a generation of complainers. And you know, I was taught if you either doing one of the two, you can't complain and do something about it at the same time. So, you know, but
Rock, I want to speak up on that though, Rock. You know, we got a lot of kids out here that don't choose their own lane. Their lane is choosing form. And see, that's the thing about the generation coming behind us. We gotta let them find their purpose in life. We gotta let them find their lane. You know what I'm saying? If
I
they
think that's the
find their
problem, though.
lane,
I think that's the problem, though, Smelly. I think that's why we.
say that again.
I think that's the problem.
I really don't. I really don't, Rock, because that's why these old heads that you speaking of didn't complain, because they stayed in their lane. They knew I was good with my hands. I'm gonna go to work, and I ain't gonna whatever I got to do. I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? They stayed in their lane. They didn't complain because they stayed in their lane. They
Okay,
stayed
so
with their purpose.
I'm asking for understanding. So explain to me what you mean when you say they stayed in their lane, because I'm not sure what you mean. So educate me on
Because
what
the
you mean.
old heads that you speaking of, right? This man might went and did a plant job back in the days. He was good with his hands. He didn't go out here and try to sell food on the corner or barbecue at the club or this here. He knew he had that job at the plant and he knew he was good at it. So he stayed with that. These youngsters, some of these parents are forcing their kids like the Chinese people. They force their kids. They tell you, my kid gonna be a doctor, my kid gonna. Some of these parents are forcing these kids to go to college, to learn trades that they ain't got no business being in. Find your niche in your life and stick with it and keep going. It ain't gonna take you
Yeah, I
5
don't
years
agree
to
with that.
learn it. It
Yeah,
might take you 10 years to learn it. But keep
I
at
don't
it.
agree with that.
And that's what we were saying. The electricians, the carpenters, all of that, we can come together and help each other. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but I don't agree. I agree with what you're trying to say, but I don't agree with. Nah, I love what the Chinese doing, and when you really think about it, we used to do that. If you notice, it was a common thing for the son to end up doing what the daddy did. It was common. It was
Yeah,
more
of
common than
course.
that. A lot of times
Of
that
course.
mechanic daddy was a mechanic. Like, for example, my dad.
Of course.
My dad comes from a whole over a century of preachers. My dad was a preacher. His dad was a preacher. Granddad was a preacher. Uncle was a preacher. So I think we should steer our kids into greatness. And if they steer away from that particular scheme of greatness, at least
I
you know
agree.
whatever they do get into, they're gonna be great.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's giving them more than one option, though. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because I'm a barber and my
Mhm.
son can cut hair, but he's an engineer. He works for the
Yeah.
government right now. So I
There
didn't
you
make him
go.
be a barber because
Yeah.
I was, but
Yeah.
best believe he can cut some hair. And he
Mhm.
worked for the government right now.
Yeah.
See, that's what
We
I'm
on the
Rock,
same
saying.
when you
track.
You
gonna
see,
become a
just
preacher?
We on
like
the same track.
your daddy was a Cowboys fan, you gonna be a Cowboys fan. It's
When you
inherited.
gonna be a preacher, Rock?
Huh?
When you gonna become a preacher, Rock?
I've been
You come
preaching
from
for
a
20
long
years. I
line of
became a rapper.
you come from a long line of pastors, brother. You gotta keep it
Yeah.
going.
It went to
He
Yeah.
rapping.
preaching
I
on his
preached through my music,
podcast.
so there was a difference. Yeah. I told my dad a
It's
long time.
different kind of preachers.
Yeah, they groomed me to be the preacher. But see, you know what happened? You know what I mean? I ended up finding out about Malcolm X. And hey, Rich, I found out about Malcolm X, and that shit went.
Oh man. Oh man.
What's this, Jesus? This is
Tell Malcolm to leave you alone, man.
good
Yeah,
shit,
man.
man. Anybody want to end that topic, man? Good conversation, man. All y'all drop some jewels, man. You good? All right, that's what's up.